Are Daredevil and Echo destined for romance or rivalry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? As Marvel Studios unveils its exciting lineup for 2024, including the highly anticipated Echo series on Disney+, fans are buzzing with speculation about the dynamic between these two iconic heroes. Join us as we delve into their complex comic book history and explore what their relationship could mean for their upcoming MCU shows. Will it be love, friendship, or something entirely unexpected? Let's find out. Marvel Studios has just spilled the beans on the first Disney Plus series, set to hit screens in 2024 as part of the MCU. Get ready for Echo, folks! It's set to drop on Disney Plus in January 2024, but hold on to your capes. There have been some delays in the MCU schedule thanks to Hollywood strikes, like the ones involving the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, so we'll have to be patient for Phase 5 of the MCU to fully unfold. This means things are a bit up in the air after The Marvels release on November 10th, which is set to wrap up in 2023. But hey, there's a silver lining. Daredevil Born Again is still on track to hit screens in 2024, so there's plenty of superhero action to look forward to, even if we have to wait a little bit longer for some of it. So why are we buzzing about this? Well, it's because of what might happen between Daredevil and Echo in the Marvel show. Daredevil and Echo feel like one of those power couples in the Marvel world, right? But here's the big question. Will their iconic relationship play out the same way in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? In the upcoming Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we've got Daredevil, played by Charlie Cox, and Echo, played by Alaqua Cox, getting ready to rock our screens in 2024. And guess who's joining the party? Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin 2! Get ready for some action in Hell's Kitchen. Now, let's talk comics for a second. Echo's debut? Yup, you guessed it right, in a Daredevil comic, so it's no surprise they're pretty tight in the comics. Created by David Mack and Joe Quesada, Echo first showed up in Devil number 9 back in 1999 as Wilson Fisk's ward, manipulated by him for his not-so-nice schemes. But here's a twist. The MCU could shake things up a bit. They've already given Maya Lopez's Echo a different backstory, so they might do the same for Daredevil in this show. But will they keep their complicated relationship? Well, in the comics, Echo and Daredevil did have a brief fling, but they're mostly tight friends who've been through a lot of danger and chaos together. What will the MCU do with their relationship? Friends? Foes? Lovers? We'll just have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure, their comic history might give us some hints about what's in store for their MCU shows. So let's break it down. Daredevil and Echo's relationship has been a roller coaster since the day they crossed paths. When Echo first entered the scene, she was a young deaf girl taken in by Wilson Fisk after her father's passing. Now, here's where things get ugly. Kingpin, not the best role model, decides to train her into a warrior right from her early years. Fisk and her dad were old buddies, but he knew that this wasn't the life her father had in mind for her. Despite growing up amidst all this darkness, Echo eventually becomes an artist and dancer. Meanwhile, Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, is dealing with the loss of his close friend and lover, Karen Page. Seizing the moment, Fisk engineers a situation where Echo and Murdock meet and fall in love, just like any regular New Yorker. Things start to get serious, but then Fisk drops a bombshell on Echo. He tells her that Daredevil was the one responsible for her father's death. Here's the kicker. Echo still has no clue that Murdock moonlights as the masked hero. This revelation triggers Echo's thirst for vengeance against Daredevil, and it leads to a fierce showdown that nearly ends Murdock's life. However, in a subsequent battle, Echo figures out that Murdock is Daredevil and chooses not to kill him. As it turns out, Murdock was too young to have committed the crime, suggesting that Kingpin might have had a hand in her father's death. Furious, Echo tracks Kingpin down and shoots him, leaving him for dead, mirroring the comic book storyline. After all the drama, Daredevil and Echo part ways romantically and embark on separate journeys to rediscover themselves. Echo leaves New York to heal and find her identity beyond the life she built with Wilson Fisk. Despite their tumultuous love story, Daredevil and Echo remain friends and frequently team up to tackle villains. They maintain a friendly relationship and even join forces with heroes like the Avengers and Luke Cage. Now let's shift our focus to Daredevil and Echo's relationship in the MCU. Echo's connection with Wilson Fisk and her backstory in both the comics and the MCU are strikingly similar. In the MCU, Fisk takes her under his wings and molds her into a member of his inner circle. In Marvel's Hawkeye, Fisk shifts the blame to Ronan instead of Daredevil for her father's death. However, echoing the comics, Echo eventually uncovers Kingpin's true responsibility and shoots him in the eye, though he survives with severe injuries. This sets the stage for the next chapter in Fisk and Murdoch's story, which will unfold further in the Echo and Daredevil Born Again series. While Daredevil has made cameo appearances in the MCU, he's yet to cross paths with Echo. His most recent cameo was in She-Hulk Attorney at Law, where he had a brief but memorable encounter with fellow attorney Jennifer Walters. While the relationship doesn't seem to have a clear future at the moment, it could potentially add some friction and drama to the Daredevil series. In the MCU, many relationships start with characters as enemies who eventually become allies. Given Echo's falling out with Kingpin, Daredevil could become an essential ally when they eventually meet. However, it's worth noting that in New York, Echo is known as part of a tracksuit mafia working with Fisk. This could lead to a conflict of interests and a challenging dynamic between her and Daredevil.
Don't make me.
There are various directions in which the relationship could evolve in the MCU. Most of Murdoch's MCU appearances are connected to his legal profession, so he might find himself helping Echo clear her name from her past actions as she embarks on a new path. Now, are Daredevil and Echo going to be the big love story in the MCU? Well, you know how the MCU usually likes to stick somewhat close to the comics, but they're not afraid to mix things up for a fresh twist. One of the more noticeable changes they've made is having Kingpin point the finger at Ronan instead of Daredevil for Echo's dad's demise. And here's the buzz. Rumors are floating around that Daredevil might only make a brief appearance in the Echo series, maybe just a single episode or two. It's not exactly what the fans were expecting, but hey, even a short stint can lay the groundwork for something bigger in Daredevil Born Again. Daredevil and Echo both come with pretty heavy backstories, and they've both had to navigate life with their own set of challenges, especially when dealing with disabilities. They're not just powerful and smart, but they've also got this shared history from the comics that the MCU writers can draw from. So who knows, they might just end up being the endgame couple that fans are rooting for. It's a bit of a waiting game though. We'll have to hold our horses until the MCU Disney Plus series drops to find out exactly what kind of relationship is brewing for these two beloved heroes. Fingers crossed for a better ending. And that's a wrap for our deep dive into Daredevil and Echo's potential relationship in the MCU. Are you excited to see these two iconic heroes team up, or are you hoping for a different twist in this story? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more exciting updates from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Stay tuned, true believers, and let's keep the conversation going.